to wrap up the show today, it's just kind of a quick in and out here, but I've read some articles, I've seen some videos, and I've just kind of been a little shook by what I'm seeing. We do live in a very mad world, a clown world, as people are calling it. And it's just really heartbreaking to see some of the headlines that are in the news and some of the stories. Here's a few. Let's pull these up. All right. An article says Patton Oswalt apologizes for posting photo with longtime friend Dave Chappelle. If you hadn't seen that, look it up, because of Dave Chappelle's jokes and people being offended. Patton Oswalt, who has been friends with him for over, I think they said before 30 years, since they were teenagers or whatnot, he put out a post apologizing for taking a picture with a lifelong friend, basically. And it's 2022, and I guess that's what you have to do to appease certain people. Here's another one in Australia. Pregnant woman arrested in front of family for promoting an anti-lockdown protest online. You can't police your way out of a pandemic, civil liberties group says. So I saw the video on this, and it was really sad. So apparently the lady had posted some stuff, I guess, on social media, and because it went against the narrative, the police came in and arrested her. And I think she had like a doctor's appointment that day. They confiscated her phones, her computers, all because she used her freedom of speech, which I guess isn't a thing in Australia. She spoke against what was going on, and they confiscated her stuff. And if you think we can't get there, think again. I mean, one of the things they did not long ago was they did a mandatory buyback of their guns. You know, it wasn't long ago. What was the dude from Texas that couldn't win an election there or for the presidency? He said, "I'm coming for your guns," or "Damn right, I'm coming for your guns," or something like that. Your AR-15s and your this and your whatever. That's fine. Try it. You know, most Americans aren't going to play that game. But Australians did. They gave up their guns, and now they're giving up their liberties and their rights, and they really don't have a way to fight back. And it is really, really heartbreaking. All right, more. Pastor arrested after sermon on marriage. Police cite complaints of homophobic comments. Murder suspect released under New York's parole reform law. Rearrested hours later. Mary Lambert recalls triggering MRI experience as a fat patient. Let me pause there for just a minute. All right. So we got a pastor getting arrested for preaching the gospel. And because somebody said, "Oh, well, the gospel is homophobic," pastor gets arrested. Murder suspect is released. Hours later, he's rearrested because of New York's parole reform law. You know, we covered that last week about issues with the New York laws and conflicts between the police chief and the DA and even their new mayor there. And I think things are just going to get worse before they get better. And then here, look, I'm a fat kid. I'm a fat kid. I get it. You know, I have to pick and choose which tables, booths, or whatever I can sit in at a restaurant sometimes. I love me some Waffle House, but I'm sitting at the table, not the booth. Can't do it. Can't do it no more. Too many all-star specials, right? So I get it. It does suck to be fat sometimes. I mean, but that's on me. I need to get out there and exercise. I need to push away from the table. But again, that all-star special, it's hard to do. But to be triggered and to feel like the world is fat phobic because not every place can accommodate your size is a little ridiculous. Let's read this one again. Mary Lambert recalls triggering MRI experience as a fat patient. So basically she messed up her knee or something like that and she couldn't fit into the machine. They weren't capable of scanning a fat person. Oh, la-di-da, you'll be okay. Here's another one. Teacher alleges she was fired for not meowing back at student who identifies as a cat. These are real articles, and I did see the video on that. where a student identified as a cat, and because she didn't play along as a substitute, they let her go. Father jailed, and this one just kind of, excuse me guys, pisses me off. Father jailed for calling his transgender child, who was born a female, his daughter, and denouncing her medical treatment. Look, I've got a little girl, and she will always be my little girl. She'll always be my baby girl forever and always. I love her so much. And I'm going to support anything that she does in life. No matter who she loves, how she loves, whatever. I love her. She'll always be my baby girl. But she'll always be my girl. You know, I don't believe these transitions change your biology. They don't change who you are. They may change how you look. They may change physical aspects, or, you know, mentally you feel like you're something, but you're not. Biologically, men are men, women are women. I know people are getting canceled for saying stuff like that, but I mean, it is what it is. And to read articles like this where a father is getting punished for calling his daughter, his girl, is ridiculous, and it just pisses me off. That just, you know I should be, as a Christian, upset about the whole pastor thing, and I am. I think that's absolutely absurd and ridiculous that you can't preach the gospel. But there are cases where kids are being taken away from their parents because they're not supporting a hormone replacement treatments, or whatever you call it. You know, just it's child abuse is what it is. And I'll be damned if my child does any of that. It is child abuse, plain and simple. To do the stuff, to give them the hormone treatments, to alter their DNA, that's the child abuse. Not addressing a she as a she, not addressing a he as a he. That's good parenting. That's common sense. That's reality. It seems like we live in this clown world that's just based not in reality anymore. Like, I don't know when that switch flipped, but here we are. I think I got a couple more. Ohio mom Kelly Williams Bowler jailed for sending kids to better school district. This is an old one, right? But this is where we start. We start with little things like this, and they just build up and get crazier and crazier. So she's going to jail for sending her kids to a better school district, but lesser punishments are happening for significantly worse crimes is what I'm getting at here. And then lastly, suspected Texas high school gunman released on bail one day after teacher and students shot. Okay, he's not an alleged shooter. He's the shooter. And they let him out on bail, and they gave him a fairly inexpensive bail for what happened, a school shooting where 4 people were shot because they say it was in self-defense at the school because he was being bullied. How many of these other school shooters were bullied and brought to school and shot up school? They're treating it completely different. And for one big reason, the color of the skin. Because this was a child of color, if I'm not mistaken, an African-American child, a black boy. I think the whole idea, again, of picking and choosing what we apply to whom based off colors of skin is ridiculous. You have people that have done the same things getting worse punishments, or even lighter punishments. In the case of the mom that sent their child to a better school, that was a black woman sending her child to a better school. And then you see these celebrities that are cheating the system and getting significantly less punishments. Now, in that situation, I don't think it's so much a black and white thing as I think it's a powerful and powerless, a have and a have not, an elite and a normal person. You know, money talks. These celebrities, these politicians, these powerful, elite, special people that we put on these pedestals, they seem to get away with practically whatever they want to. Murder. We can't get away with anything. And yes, it is unjust to the black community. It is also unjust to the white community, the Asian community, the gay community, whatever communities you want to align with. Some have privilege over others in different regards, and that's a whole nother topic. Okay, but it is us against them. And I said that last week. made my case. If you hadn't seen that video, go check it out. It's completely obvious that it is us versus them in every sense of the way. Okay? But they're handing out different punishments to different people. It's almost like they don't care. They're just, draw a name, here you go. Here's your punishment, move on, whatever. And it's not fair. This is a clown world. Absolute clown world. Hearing your president consistently wording things wrong with one of your foreign adversaries is another problem. Okay? Especially when things are getting a little volatile. Watch this.
And so I think what you're going to see is that Russia will be held accountable if it invades. And it depends on what it does. It's one thing if it's a minor incursion and then we end up having a fight about what to do and not do, et cetera.
Say what?
The cost of going into Ukraine in terms of physical loss of life for the Russians, they'll be able to prevail over time. They'll be able to prevail over time. They'll be able to prevail over time. But it's going to be heavy. It's going to be real. It's going to be consequential.
So what he's saying there, okay, a couple things. One, if Russia invades the Ukraine full force, hey, we're gonna do what we have to defend Ukraine. We're not going to have that. Well, unless it's a minor kind of thing, unless it's not that big of a deal. What is that? What constitutes as a big deal? What constitutes as a minor infraction or whatever he said, right? Versus a legit a takeover of Ukraine. He just, and other folks have said this too, he may have just given permission and a green flag here to Russia to do what they need to, what they want to do to Ukraine. In fact, the president of the Ukraine spoke up and said, hey, that wasn't okay to say. That's our president. Good job, guy. It reminds me of something else he said at Russia.
Another area we spent a great deal of time on was cyber and cybersecurity. I talked about the proposition that certain critical infrastructure should be off limits to attack, period, by cyber or any other means. I gave them a list. If I'm not mistaken, I don't have it in front of me, 16 specific entities, 16 defined as critical infrastructure under U.S. policy.
So this fool's going to go talk to Putin and say, hey, no cyber attacks, no cyber attacks. Well, on these 16 things, we can kind of let you slide on everything else. Why is he doing this? We said for so long, I said we, and I say we, meaning our Congress and our elected officials, not me, but they, how about that, said for 4 years that Trump was tied to the Russians and helped the Russians out. In this video alone, in this full show, we've shown several times where Biden has either gone soft on Russia, China, Iran, right? Or has helped or promoted or given a green flag even to Russia or China, Iran, whoever. There's been more evidence that Biden is in bed with the Russians than Trump. But we haven't been hearing that in the mainstream media. In fact, Trump still gets brought up quite often about things, even with being, in ties to Russia. The only thing scarier, I think, than knowing how Biden is knowing that this woman right here is our number 2. And if something were to happen to President Biden, she's next in line. Check this out.
Here this week, we saw a record number of hospitalizations, adults and children. We've seen the infection record broken this week as well. You've seen the long lines of folks who are waiting to get tested. A lot of folks can't even get a test. I think a lot of people are scratching their heads and they're wondering, 1 year into this administration, why aren't we doing better in the fight against COVID?
So let me start with saying that people are rightly frustrated with where we are. We're frustrated. We're all frustrated. I walked in here wearing a mask. None of us like to wear masks, right? But I think it's a mistake, and it would be a mistake to suggest that we've not seen great progress.
All right, I'm going to stop this crazy lady right there. Why I have these in a YouTube window and I don't have the little clips, little video clips like I have for some of the other ones. It's because I want to show you the comments. First, let's jump back over here to this Biden one where he said there's no federal solution, right? So just reading through it, the comments. His most truthful comment since he endorsed Let's Go Brandon. This guy first says he has all the solutions for COVID. Now he doesn't have anything to say. Great job, Biden and his voters. Translation, I've tried to impose tyranny from the top, but the Constitution got in the way. Do your best, my minions. And it goes on. There's not a whole lot of good comments here. And I want to say I saw one in here earlier saying this is why we got rid of the dislike button. That may have been another one. But, well, not the dislike button itself, but you can't see the dislikes anymore. But yeah, this thing is just getting ratioed in the comment section for sure. Moving back over to this one with Harris. If we look down here, wow, words can't explain how embarrassing this woman is. This is precisely what happens when you select someone based on their gender or race and not merit. How can you not do anything but laugh when seeing this woman? My God. It goes on. And there was a good point made right here. At 5:25 in the video, they edit out her bizarre response to the "is it time" question. The media doing so much heavy lifting for this administration. Let's see what they're talking about. 5:25.
Six former administration officials last week wrote that open letter urging the administration to change course, to change strategy. Is it time?
We know. We still have.
There was clearly a cut there. All right. And they do something similar to what I do. If I ever make a cut in a video and it's not obvious by me inserting like Stewie or something like that, I'll put it in a little flash or something to indicate that there was a cut there. Okay. There was clearly a cut there. Why did they skip over that? Well, if we go over here, this basically picks up there. Let's see what happens here. What was her answer? Why did they cut it?
To change strategy. Is it time?
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree that there are things and tools that are available to us to slow this thing down. And so right now we know we still have a number of people that is in the millions of Americans who have not been vaccinated and could be vaccinated, and we are urging them to get vaccinated.
Hold on. What did she say?
Change strategies. Six former administration officials last week. Is it time?
Is it time?
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree that there are things and tools.
What is she saying? Is it time? It's always time for time when it's time, and time on time when it's time. This woman is a mess. Let's look at the comments here. Kamala Harris is a prime example of it's not what you know, but it's who you know. How can she be so unprepared to answer the most basic questions? The best part of this interview is that we all know she has the power to get a copy of all the questions ahead of time to prepare. She still failed. This is priceless. Thank you, Kamala, for making us all laugh together. And again, of course, you can't see the dislikes, but man, it is getting just ratioed in the comments. And that's what's sad, is that as bad as Biden is, we've got her next in line. I don't know which is worse. You know, you can blame COVID, the previous administration, lockdowns, and whichever party you want for a lot of what we're dealing with now. But the madness that this world is coming to has been building for a long time. And they've been able to get us to this point because we played nice and allowed them to push a little more. But now look at us. We know they have no plans on changing anytime soon. So what are we going to do different? What are you going to do different? This can't continue. The end result will not be what we want it to be. It'll be what they want it to be. And that's been the point this entire time. Hey guys, thanks for checking out this clip from the Morning Mayhem. Remember, this is just a portion of the full show that comes out every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you hadn't already, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the full shows or these tasty little nuggets.